Mario Kart 8 Deluxe isn't known for its driving techniques like Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart Wii, and especially Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. But one of Mario Kart 8's techniques that didn't get patched in this game is known as the Super Bounce. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to perform the Super Bounce on the 4 tracks this technique is utilized on: Cloud Top Cruise, DK Jungle, Music Park, and Sky Garden. So without further ado, let's start giving her, bud. Cloud Top Cruise and DK Jungle undoubtedly have the easiest Super Bounces on a track basis, so we'll use these tracks as a way of demonstrating the technique. In this game, you can charge up mini turbos while in the air. This is a very important piece of information when it comes to the Super Bounce. Instead of tricking off the boost ramp, drift off of it, charge up a mini turbo while in the air, then release your mini turbo right before tricking off the bounce pad. In doing so, you'll get a huge boost forward, much more than you would by simply tricking off the bounce pad. You can see here that by taking the easy way out and tricking off both the boost ramp and the bounce pad, I'm losing quite a lot of time. This technique is not challenging and is one that you can pick up very quickly, so if you aren't already performing these super bounces, I highly suggest you do so if you want to up your game. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps with beating the YouTube algorithm, and I'd personally really appreciate it. On Music Park, there are 2 bounce pads you can super bounce off of. The first one is rather challenging compared to the others. As for the second one, I almost can't see how you'd consistently pull it off without getting the super bounce. Anyway, I like to approach the first bounce pad by releasing my super or ultra mini turbo, then start a right drift all while I'm briefly airborne. You need to fully soft drift to charge up the mini turbo in time, but if you do so, release your mini turbo and trick off the bounce pad at the same time, and you'll be fully out here. This saves a ridiculous amount of time over simply tricking off the bounce pad, but if you drift into it and trick without the mini turbo, while it will still be slower, you won't lose as much time. I won't get into too much detail on the second super bounce because it is the easiest out of all the super bounces in this video. You'll easily charge up a super mini turbo and from there, release it and trick off the drum, and you're giving her. Like I said, if you don't get the super bounce, you're doing it horribly wrong, as you can see here. Lastly, we got Sky Garden, and this track has the hardest super bounces in the game. While it's generally the same process as the other super bounces, you have to nail 2 tricks on the leaf bounce pad section. The first one is the super bounce, the second one is a follow-up trick that you could potentially miss if your alignment is off. I like to aim for the middle of the leaf, and I make this shortcut almost every time in the fastest way possible. Now, onto the mushroom. The physics on this mushroom are really weird, so you can't approach this like your typical super bounce. It's also worth mentioning that you don't get much air by drifting off the ramp prior to the mushroom. With that said, I always start a drift early, and I always release my mini turbo a little after the halfway point between drifting off the ramp and tricking off the bounce pad. To make your life easier, shake your controller as you trick off the ramp. Put it all together, and while this may take more time to get the hang of than the other super bounces, it'll still be as easy as the others with enough practice. Combine these 2 super bounces together, and you'll have a significant advantage over those who can't perform this technique, especially on Sky Garden. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you'd leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to let me know in the comments if there are any other techniques in this game you'd like me to cover in depth. I'm open to suggestions. But with that said, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and keep on giving her, bud.